Hey everybody. If you're watching this, thank you once again. If you're new to the channel, please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate the support. All right, so we're back for another review of Love and Marriage Huntsville. These people are exhausting. I just wish they just weren't on so much fuck shit. I do and I do. I wish they were on better fuck shit. How about that? Anyway, so here we go. All right, so we're back at Nell's birthday party that Tisha has made it her individual business to make a shit show. Okay? Um, this is called Love and Lockup, by the way. This episode, and I kept looking at it. I said, "Oh, what's wrong with my setup on my TV? They got the shows mixed up." Child, not Love After Lockup. Love. Anyway, so Stormy and Tisha still arguing. Nell said, "Look, you either like each other or you don't." And Tisha was like, "We don't." I said, "Then bitch, shut the fuck up." Okay, because let me tell you something. When I don't like somebody, I will ignore the dog fuck out of you. Okay, I will. Because a lot of shit I just don't have the energy for. So Nell calls Tisha out about going back and forth with everybody, which she was clearly doing. Period. She was doing that. Maurice is watching with that confused dog look. And so was Chris. Chris is watching as it was happening, but he had kind of had that nervous smirk on his face, but he was watching intensely. And what that gave me was like maybe he is well aware of what Nell is capable of in the middle of an argument, and she could easily whoop Tisha's ass because we know Stormy could have dragged that bitch separately by herself. Nell could drag that bitch separately by herself. We know Tisha cannot fight. Okay? So Tisha, I'm just saying, you need to bring it down. Okay? Because we know you don't have hands. Kiki showed us that. Anyway, Nell still walked away with Tisha by herself to have a sit down, figure out what was going on with Tisha. And Tisha was still rah-rah. So Stormy goes to ask Marsau, well, what's happening between us? What's the deal? And Marsau was like, I didn't know we weren't good with that dumb shit he always does, lying and carrying on. And she said, okay, well, if you didn't know how we were doing, then how was I supposed to know? Whatever. Stormy seemed actually genuine when she said we don't harbor stuff, in the sense that, like, she was over it. Like, I don't think she dislikes Tisha. I really don't. She may have disliked Tisha at that moment, but I really think her beef is with Marsau. Like, sometimes I don't think it's somebody can be capable of not liking one person who's connected to somebody else, like in a marriage or a close friendship. I really do believe Stormy has no problem with Tisha, and all of her problem is with Marsau. I think she's being honest about that. And she was like, we don't harbor stuff. Marsau was like, well, we do. She said, well, then that's y'all's problem. Facts. It was a whole lot of mess, talking back and forth. I mean, Courtney was right there just in case Marsau wanted to try some shit. But honestly, it was. I felt like I was in the party just hearing a bunch of noise. Like, I can't deal with this fuck shit. So, Nell and Tisha, they still arguing though. All right, heavy on the Tisha part though. So Nell apologizes for saying that she was aggressive. Granted, that word is a trigger word for a lot of black women, including myself, because it's a loaded term whenever it's thrown at us. Now, it just is. The way we're socialized, the way people try to do that to negate anything we're saying, it's a trigger word. However, that being said, Tisha, you were drunk as a fucking skunk. Okay, so like, there was no way Nell could really apologize to you and reason with you in that state. She couldn't. Okay, and Tisha is mad because Nell called herself Tisha's mentor. Granted, I never thought that shit was cute either. It did sound condescending to say that about two grown people who did not sign up for that label. Now, if that's what Mel and Martell were comfortable calling y'all, then that's different. Nell, and you know, to Kimmy's point last week, well, when did we sign up for this? I completely understand that. Nell couldn't tell me how to feed my fucking goldfish with the way she carries on. But that's beside the point, because we're not talking about me, we're talking about Tisha. So she felt like she said she was a mentor, so she didn't have to say they were friends. She said Nell should have addressed her fans, and she had kind of like kowtowed to it. And Nell said, well, at the least, you should have said something, Tisha, if you had a problem. And Tisha said, I don't address the haters. She was like, so you expect me to? Like, what the fuck? And Nell basically was like, next time you have a problem, just call me. Call me directly. Do like Mel does. Well, I'm not Mel. I'm me. She said, whatever it is, you need to let me know directly. Honestly, I think Nell handled this situation extremely well. I think she probably did, especially because her kids were around. Because it was her birthday and they were filming. But honestly, Tisha, you were giving way too fucking much. And I'm not gonna lie, I was really proud of you for not getting in the gutter with her. And you didn't deserve that. But honestly, Nell didn't deserve to have to put out all that energy to stay calm in that situation at her own party. Because Tisha, we know if the roles were reversed, you'd be asking Kimmy, Marsau, Maurice, and all the M name Scotts and everybody else to get on Fletcher and tell Nell how to behave and everything else. Anyway, Tisha didn't say nothing when she was going off that made anything more revealing or more clear. She was whining this whole goddamn episode about the attention other people weren't giving her. Don't get drunk on TV no more, Tisha. Okay? Because the thing is, some people can get drunk. See, it's okay when you're a funny drunk. Okay? Because then it's different. Then we can all laugh and enjoy it. But it's not fun for us to watch and you want some fuck shit. Moving on. Chris, Fletcher, Martell, and Courtney. Hashtag forced scene. Okay? First clue. 3-man football was a dead ass giveaway. Y'all had to go to some parks to throw a football around. Y'all can't even do teams. What the fuck? Anyway, Chris said he's checking on Martell for not being invited to Nell's party. How fucking old is he? 10? Fuck him. Anyway, it took 6 seconds for Martell's bitch ass, okay, to start whining about how he wasn't invited to a party so he could go there and harass Mel and make her uncomfortable. Martell said him and Mel don't have any problems when they're in the same room. This motherfucker is really he's gone. She gone. Beyonce. All right, anyway. So Chris gave that same face that Maurice had at the party. One of those like stupefied looks like, how do I respond to that? Don't. You made the right move because you can't reason with that fucker anyway. So Courtney asked if there was a restraining order or anything. Courtney, how come you wasn't talking the same shit you were before? How come you ain't say to Martell, you know what, man? I think it's messed up that they call this domestic violence. You ain't doing the same shit you were saying first episode. How come? Because Huntsville's small and you found out it was some fuck shit? Then you need to go apologize to Mel. How about that? Any fucking way. So Martell said that Chris is always chastising him, just like Maurice and Marsau. First of all, Maurice, Marsau, and Chris, as far as I'm concerned, have been, by and large, enablers to Martell. Period. And anytime anybody says something to Martell at all, for his own good, about his behavior, it is usually after he has done a series of extreme behaviors. And I can tell you right now, he's one of those, people that his kids are going to grow up to resent, because I guarantee you he chastises them when they fall out of order, and this is how he behaves. Anyway, anybody who challenges Martell and doesn't praise him and tell him how great he is turns into somebody who's mistreating him and he's the victim. What a bitch. Oh my gosh. So Chris was like, fuck you, but the real fuck you would be to ice Martell out of filming, because at this point, enough is enough. All right, so Martell wants to know what was the process of not inviting him to the party. Motherfucker, girl, get over it. So Courtney asked if he's coming to their gala. Can somebody please, and please, I really am asking, in the comments, what the fuck are they having a gala for? Like, are they raising money for Stormy's almost gone under business? Like, what the fuck do you need it? Why are you calling it a gala? Anyway, Courtney has to come to their gala. Martell is being asked to be a model, and Martell is still on the fence about it because of his body. Not because he takes himself seriously as a businessman and therefore would not want to be somebody's model. Like, this whole dad body, he is such a bitch. I hate him. Anyway, so Marsau and Tisha. Tisha is talking about wearing multiple hats as a mom, wife, and businesswoman. Because we ain't heard this bullshit from Tisha since season 1. Tisha is asking Marsau about the bid. Have you talked to Kimmy about it? And he said, no, I've talked to Maurice, which is typical of his sexist chauvinist ass. And she was like, well, I really don't want to go back down that road with Kimmy and them not being friends. I was just like, oh my gosh, this bitch is so sensitive. I'm surprised she's lasted this long on reality TV, because I don't think she's faking sensitivity. I feel like that this is just how she is. She whines. And wasn't it Kimmy or somebody who said at one point in the scene, they were like, she's spoiled. Like, she acts like a spoiled kid. and her expectations of other people. Anyway, Tisha brings up how Mel is mad with Marsau. For saying something to the press about the situation that we now know Martell was found guilty of, so on and so forth. And then the two of them start talking about how they get blamed all the time. And I was like, but there's a lot of shit y'all have done by talking too much. Like, a lot of stuff y'all aren't blamed for out of nowhere. This is what I mean. This is why he's able to enable people like Martell. That's why. Anyway, so Marsau brings up accountability, and Tisha doesn't want to have the conversation. Then he walks away 1, 2, 3 steps, mother may I. And then she said, okay, I want to talk about accountability. I said, I'll be goddamn. Anyway, so she starts saying that the women were trying to say I had all this liquid courage stuff at me at the party. But this is me. This is me. Yes, Tisha, it was definitely you. We saw you behaving and acting the way you were acting that we know you would not have had the ovarian strength to do if you were sober. Okay? So I'm going to need you to grow the fuck up and take some responsibility. And yes, Marsau is right. And I hate when I have to say that. But there are times when Marsau is right. And I just got to give it to him. Okay? Her default is defensive. Then she starts crying. And she was like, as your wife, you can call me out, but don't chastise me. Ma'am, typically when somebody calls you out, a lot of people will explain why by chastising you. What the fuck? Because if he called you out and didn't say nothing else, then you would be like, I mean, what you calling me out for? What you calling me out for? Well, now you asked for it. Anyway, nobody is supposed to tell Tisha anything she doesn't want to hear. Okay? You and Martell, never mind, I'm not going to start. Anyway, so she was like, every time I make mistakes, you call me out. He was like, no, I don't. You think those are the only mistakes you make? I don't know why that was funny to me, but it was funny. Anyway, so we get Stormy and Mel meeting up. We haven't seen them in a long time together, even though they talking as if we don't know how to fill in that gap. But anyway, Stormy, y'all know I don't fuck with Stormy. I don't like her. I don't like her. I don't like that bitch. I think she's messy as fuck. And anyway, Stormy, that home ec dress with the fire blaze pattern, don't do that in the confessional again. Don't do that on screen. But anybody walking around looking like they were cosplaying Players Club strippers, like, I know you're going to do something worse again. Anyway, Mel was being messy when she asked how Stormy felt about that Sonny and Moses situation. You knew she was trying to be messy as fuck when she did that. Nevertheless, I think Stormy was reasonable. I think she was charitable in her response. She was like, you can't help who you fall in love with. You can't. Not when you are really in love. She was like, but it was a whole lot of, I got the man now, this, that, and the other, my ring. And she was like, they could have been nicer in the way they dealt with it. She said, because honestly, I was wondering, well, were you kind of wanting him all along? And that's what it looks like. It looks like that, but it also looks like she wanted to take something away from Destiny. Because I guarantee you, this isn't about her. I mean, because we know Moses is dumb as fuck. He's inarticulate as fuck. That shit is not fucking attractive. And yes, he could easily be manipulated, but what I think is that Sonny is very jealous of Destiny. And oftentimes, one of the ways women try to get at other women who they're jealous of is to take somebody away that plays an important role in their life, like a particular partner. And that's just what it is. That's just what it is. I don't give a fuck if you hate Destiny. I don't give a fuck whether I like Destiny or not. I've seen jealous bitches. Just like I called Tisha out about trying to snatch those glasses off of Mel's face. I know jealous bitches and what they'll do to try to take things away from you. It doesn't matter. Okay? And so Stormy was like, her energy was all facts. Stormy basically says, when Mel said, well, you and Tisha got into it, she said, no, Tisha was into it with herself. She was. The bitch was drunk. She don't know what she's talking about. She's too sensitive. She tells Mel that Martell is invited to their gala. I said, well, when did Mel get an invitation? Because at the party, she didn't have no invitation. Okay, maybe I missed something. Mel says she won't come as a result. I don't blame you. Because let me tell you what I don't do. And I've told you before, I do not believe in having public arguments with people. That rah-rah shit and I don't know and this happening. Mm-mm. 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 That is uncouth. It is uncouth. Now, I'm not saying that if you shake, you won't get shook if need be. But no, most of the time, Salah Johnson will not engage you. When I don't like somebody, I will ignore the dog fuck out of you. Like, I will act like Cardi B. If I see you and I don't speak, I don't fuck with you. That's it. Anyway, so Tisha and Martell meet up at the gym. Another forced weird scene. So Martell is not looking forward to working out with her because he doesn't work out with women. I said, well, the motherfucker didn't work out with whatever trainer you usually work out in. What the fuck? What is with his PMS attitude? Anyway, never mind. I don't like the way I look and I would again. Fuck you. Anyway, Martell manages to talk about parties. And this comes out of nowhere. Parties that Marsau had with women out of nowhere. And he was like, yeah, he would have caught you too. She was like, no, I doubt it. And he was like, no, she definitely would have caught you. Basically implying, oh yeah, he can pull women in there to do whatever for free. I was like, why does he feel the need to degrade black women every fucking chance he gets? Go take that up with your mama. Actually, you know what? No, don't take it up with your mama. Take it up with yourself. And you're sus. And I've always said that. Anyway, and that's given the reason why you don't like certain women. Okay? That's why you really hate Mel, because you want to be her. Anyway, Martell, like the gossipy bitch that he is, brings up how he had a run-in with Chris Fletcher, and he said Chris actually initially tried to introduce them and set them up. First of all, that shit just sounded like a lie. It sounded like a fucking lie. It sounded like he was trying to imply that Chris tried to hook him up with her when he was married. But see, that was Chris in it. You know what I mean? Like, he's just this nigga is psychotic. Anyway, so, or he appears psychotic, should I say, because I am not licensed to do that. Anyway, so Trisha, you were talking too much. Asking, about why Mel was at Nell's party, but asking Martell why he wasn't there. That shit was messy. And it was none of your fucking business. And given your situation, I think you should lighten up, darling. Lighten up on other people's business. Why are you asking that anyway? They're divorced. And not only are they divorced, the process of it was public, still is. It was acrimonious. And considering that you weren't divorced at this point, but on a reality show, your business may be super exposed in a way you're not ready for either. So I would calm down. All right. So then she goes to the typical formula for this show. It never fails. Shit on Mel to get camera time. I promise y'all, if it wasn't for people so obviously hating on Mel, I probably wouldn't even defend her or even care for her like that. But like, I know what I see. I've seen too many women in my life behave like this. For me I get triggered by it. To jump on the pretty girl, to jump on the smart girl, to jump on the one who has it going on and nitpick her and try to hurt her in every possible way instead of trying to get your weight up, trying to get your game up, trying to learn something from her, or just not keeping her name in your... I've seen too many women like that. And it doesn't feel good. And I think when I see that happening to Mel, that's why I'm willing to go up for her. And I don't care how anybody feels about it. Anyway... But it's a gang up all the time. I hate that shit. So saying Mel was grilling you when she was asking questions, boo, I don't think you remember that correctly. Because Kimmy was the loud one. And so was Tisha, but she was drunk. You could have just chalked that up to her being drunk. But Kimmy was the one really going in with questions. But you don't remember that. Because getting at it with Kimmy ain't going to really get you no play on this show. Right. And I'm sitting up here like... What are you talking about? You acting like Mel was grilling you like cheese, girl, bye. Anyway, so Martell was like, well, did you grill her back? And she said, no. He was like, well, this is how you do it. This is what I mean. All these little things that seem like it's no big deal is his way of sending flying monkeys to still do things to Mel. And a lot of these motherfuckers are okay with it. So Martell manages to somehow, because this whole conversation was crazy. I'm surprised it even aired because this shit didn't make no sense. But it's Martell. So anyway, Martell manages to talk about Nell being a former side chick by stepping in and saying, well, everybody has their issues. Based on what Trisha told her, he is such a girl. Anyway, he said, well, you know, she started the trend of side chicks. Chris, I knew it. I was like, that's the problem. You should have whooped his ass when he called her a side chick to your fucking face. And when he was talking slick to your wife at that fucking reunion. You let too much shit slide for me, and that shit ain't okay. I don't give a fuck how anybody feels about Nell. That ain't the point. You let another man disrespect your wife. That's the line. And he should know not to ever cross it again. That's why I understand why the fuck he was checking on him with that fake scene with football. Anyway, so then she talks about complications and paperwork and separation, but not divorce. She's like, I hate explaining it. Well, girl, you done brought it up now. So anyway, I'm not sweating. I don't know. He was like, yeah, y'all always say that women. He was like, Mel claimed we were separated when she had a side dude. I said, this motherfucker won't stop lying. Damn, and it makes you look worse and worse, Martell. Martell, nobody believes it. Because we all know if you had it, any kind of evidence, you would have told it. In a city like Huntsville, if it was there, it would have been exposed by now. The same thing when people are accusing Marsau of cheating. If it was there, we'd know by now. Period. She didn't. You had a whole known side piece for 5 years and a damn baby while still being married on paper. The nerve of you to call yourself perpetually calling people out about their immoral behavior. You have no space. None. None. Oh my gosh, this nigga needs... Excuse me, Lord. Got me using words I don't have no business using. Anyway, so Mel meets up with Marsau. They're talking about, they're going to talk about that domestic violence situation, whatever. So she asked him, she starts off in her Mel way, being messy, asked him about the expo and was basically asking if, in the most passive-aggressive way, oh, did y'all have sponsors this time? Did y'all have speakers? Did y'all have panels? Did y'all have keynotes? Basically, all the things she told them they needed to do in order to make it successful. In a way of giving herself credit. All right, darling, all right. Because Mel was basically saying, if it wasn't for me, y'all wouldn't have been successful this second time around. Essentially, Mel is like, why did you feel the need to make a statement at all about this situation? Okay? Because, oh yeah, this is what I was also going to say. When Martell was talking about, oh, Mel claimed this. You wouldn't have had to weaponize that sex tape, baby, if you had proof she was cheating on you. Anyway, back to this. She was like, why did you feel the need to say anything at all? Marsau claims his name was circulating around the news station. I was thinking to myself, how the fuck you know that? According to the text message, because it's, you know, M-A-R. Okay, Marsau. And I said, what kind of news station is that? If your name is circulating that it's gotten back to you. He claims that they got their names mixed up. Mel was like, okay, that seems like a pretty easy fix to just tell somebody, no, it's not me. Right. Okay, because he's lying. Mel is like, from personal friends to reporters, I've never spoken on your stuff because it wasn't my place. Okay? After saying, he said he didn't know what was going on between them, he then shows us in the text message that he said to an anchor, but free Martell. That shit. And even after you've told him yourself to shut the hell up because it's not having the same effect. Why would you do that? Other than to be spiteful to Mel. And I feel like everybody is in this secret agreement, whether explicit or clandestine. Either way, I feel like they are setting themselves up to punish Mel for being willing to leave a man and divorce him and not shaming herself while having 4 kids, being able to provide and take care of herself. This is the way we're going to get Mel back for breaking what is supposed to appear a certain way for a woman. This is what she needs a man, even if he's a sorry motherfucker like Martell. And Mel said free Tisha. And let me tell you something. Don't throw what you can't catch, Marsau. Because it does seem like Tisha be locked down like a prisoner. Anyway, next week we're going to get Destiny and Sunny. And honestly, Destiny owes you, Sunny, a real hard pop to the forehead. I think her face might explode if you do that. But anyway, I got to stop. Anyway, I'll talk to y'all soon. Y'all have a good week. Bye.